The LIV and PGA controversies never seem to come to an end because, folks, you'll be shocked to know what just happened. LIV Golf has renewed PGA's fears by getting ready to announce their latest signing. So here's the thing, right? LIV's lured in a bunch of folks from the PGA Tour in 2022, and they did this because of one thing and one thing only. That's right, it's money. But it doesn't seem like the Saudi-backed league is going to stop anytime soon, because they're all set to bring in more and more names from the PGA this time around. So this battle between the two, which just by the way has gotten dirty enough as is all set to get even dirtier. The thing is that they're all set to announce their first signing of this year is something that's really worrying the folks over at the PGA Tour. Now, this makes sense, because as I mentioned, LIV's already been able to take away many of the golfers who golfed with the American Tour. So this civil war, so to speak, between the two has been reignited right before LIV's second campaign, which is all set to kick off in Mexico in February. They're about to bring in their latest celebrity.
Bogey. Yeah, great birdie.
And folks, I promise you, you'll be shocked to know who it could be. That's right, it's Mito Pereira.
Played really well. Missed a couple putts. Could have been a really good round.
Now, this isn't really 100% sure, but it's the thing that's going to happen most likely. And according to their report, this announcement is all set to come really soon. While some folks were shocked or are in for a shock, there are still many people who this didn't surprise at all. Because the fact is, he'd been linked to LIV for a while now. That's because pictures emerged where Pereira was seen standing next to a bunch of LIV golfers, such as Sergio Garcia, Dustin Johnson, and Brooks Koepka in November 2022. Joaquin Niemann, another Chilean to defect to LIV, has also been pretty transparent about his attempts to convince his compatriot to join the Saudi League. I guess money speaks. And guys, don't just take my word for it. Apparently Joaquin told a Chilean newspaper that he would love to bring Mito in, and that he's doing everything possible. But in the end, it's all up to Pereira.
He's been really good the last 3 days, last 2 weeks, so I'm pretty happy the way he's trending.
Regardless of how much Joaquin wants the Chilean to play alongside him. He also revealed to the very same newspaper that he's trying everything possible to bring Pereira to LIV. I mean, I guess it worked. Joaquin also stated that it would be ideal for him if Pereira was on the team. That's because he's 44th in the world right now, and he also is one of golf's biggest stars from South America. But it's really interesting to see that he might leave the PGA because he only joined in 2022. Yes, that's right. He came onto the PGA scene after impressing on the Korn Ferry Tour. He secured 3 victories on that tour, and the 27-year-old was thrown into the limelight in the summer of 2022 when he got extremely close to securing his first ever major title at the PGA. He led the tournament heading to the final hole. However, a wayward shot off the 18th tee meant that he had a double bogey finish for his tournament in a tie for 3rd. I mean, okay, it didn't end too well, understandable, but it's interesting to see that he might just leave after being there for a year. Could the money really be that good? Maybe, but there's one thing. Regardless of that, PGA Tour loyalists should be thankful for LIV Golf. Wait, that sounds crazy. Why should they be thankful? Because golf had an extremely interesting year. And honestly, what didn't golf have in 2022? There were spats, there were lawsuits, there were suspensions, and most importantly, there was drama. And let's not forget the biggest thing involved in all of this, money. Looking at all this drama, all this chaos, one thing's apparent: LIV Golf is exactly what the sport needs. Because despite the constant abuses hurled on both sides, one thing's clear: this has made golf interesting. Think about it this way: mega money deals have been made, right? And in the fight back, PGA also released a set of much-needed changes. These changes were extremely crucial, especially from a financial point of view, because to ensure that these guys don't defect, PGA announced a minimum salary of $500,000. That's easy to say, folks, but that's a whole lot of money. And then, of course, prize money also increased. The new average purse was increased to $20 million to keep up with the Saudi Finance League. On top of that, folks will receive $5,000 for missing cuts. That's a massive amount of money for basically not winning anything. And then, if that wasn't enough, the PGA Tour has also added more events to the 2023 FedEx Cup regular season. Man, this is beside the ones they announced in June 2022. Oh, and the Player Impact Program now rewards 20 players instead of 10. And the payout has been doubled from $50 million to a whopping $100 million. But you're for sure going to be surprised to hear how massively they're spending here.
trouble with a pin like this if you let your guard down. You've got length. See how far it is.
Apparently, PGA Tour has committed almost $100 million to increased purses for 2022. Yep, you heard that right. And the 4 new elevated events, that alone will set the tour back $46 million. This comes after they've already pledged a bump of almost $50 million. But then, this doesn't even include the $100 million they've pledged to double the money awarded through the Player Impact Program. To sum it all up, folks, PGA is spending a whole lot of money to ensure that their tour stays interesting and that people don't defect. So the PGA stars have the PGA to thank for their fat bank accounts, yes, but they also have LIV to thank for that. According to John Rahm, golfers should actually be thankful that LIV ended up happening.
The difference between what you would think is the greatest players in the world and the rest, skill-wise.
Because he feels that these changes wouldn't have happened if LIV wasn't in the picture. But guys, aren't you all surprised by all of this money? Aren't you guys wondering where the heck all of this is coming from? Don't worry, I'll tell you. The money's coming from 3 sources: increased revenue from the 21-22 season, reserves, and sponsors and partners. Because folks, here's another thing that happened. All of this infighting made golf really popular. As a result, revenue increased, and so did the sponsorships. But the one thing that's uncertain right now is how long will these sources of budget increase be able to sustain the new expenses? Because here's the thing, right? Even with all this boost,
up on the green at 5, eagle bid here, Dottie.
Just a smidge downhill, but not crazy.
The PGA Tour just can't match the same levels as LIV Golf. No matter what, it's really hard to compete with oil money. This happened in many sports before golf, and now it's happening in golf. And eventually, we'll see it happen in other sports too. PGA Tour's forever loyalist Tiger Woods.
Well, there's no other major that we play in the same venue. So, St. Andrews is.
Himself admitted that the PGA Tour just can't compete with the Saudi League. And is he wrong? No, not at all. He stated that the Saudi League has already spent close to $2 billion in 2022.
Okay, let's see here. Can't quite get there.
So who's to stop them from spending $4, even $5 billion in the coming years? He also said that LIV just has an endless pit of money. And that's true, because the entire point of LIV was never to make money. It was to improve Saudi Arabia's image and to sports wash their alleged crimes. So it looks like the oil-rich kingdom may never stop swiping their card every time they feel like it. And that's all for All Things LIV for now. See you guys soon.